If you watched the Lakers on Christmas Day, you didn't just see a loss, you saw something crack. Because after Houston ran them out of the building, JJ Redick didn't do the usual "we'll watch film and move on" routine. He walked into the post-game press conference sounding like a coach who was tired of watching the same movie over and over, and he basically admitted the Lakers haven't been organized offensively since LeBron came back.
I think since we've gotten Bron back, we haven't been as organized offensively. Too many random possessions, so that's on me. So it's those three things.
And that's the kind of comment that doesn't just motivate a locker room. That's the kind of comment that forces everybody inside the building to pick a side. Let's rewind to how this started, because the timeline matters. On December 25th, 2025, the Lakers lost to the Houston Rockets 119-96, and it wasn't one of those games where you can say shots just didn't fall. Houston looked faster, sharper, and connected. The Lakers looked like five strangers arguing mid-possession about whose job it was to rotate, whose job it was to cut, and whose job it was to actually run the action that was being called. The game was basically over by the third quarter, and that's when the real story started. Because JJ Redick got asked the simple question every coach gets after a performance like that: why didn't the team execute?
Not at all. Not at all. I don't know. I don't know what else to do. I do a lot of joysticking over there on the sideline. Yesterday I said, hey, let's run away toss and bring it up the left side. I want so-and-so in it. It was after a dead ball. It was like I'm calling it on the fly. And we bring it up that side, and the person I want in the away toss isn't over there. It's just like, that's happening so consistently right now. I chalk it up to the holidays.
And Redick didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't hide behind cliches. He sounded genuinely fed up. He talked about joysticking on the sideline, calling actions, trying to guide possessions in real time, only for the team to still bring the ball up on the wrong side, put the wrong players in the wrong spots, and miss the timing of the play completely. He basically said, "I don't know what else to do," and then tried to laugh it off with a holiday joke. But you could hear the truth under it. This wasn't holiday food. This was a team not running what the coach is calling. And here's where it went from normal criticism to something that hit like a direct shot at LeBron.
The other thing that stood out was we ran 12 ATOs last night, 8 of which we didn't run correctly. We tried to run 2 of them again, still didn't run them correctly. One we tried to run a third time, didn't run that correctly. So just a lot of slippage.
Redick didn't just complain about sloppiness. He tied it to a specific point in time. He said the Lakers had been disorganized since getting LeBron back. Now, if you're LeBron James, that's not just coaching talk. That's a message. Because everybody knows what happens when LeBron comes back into a lineup. The ball finds him. The pace changes. The offense becomes more LeBron-centered. And even if nobody says his name, the implication lands anyway. If the team was organized before and disorganized after, who does that point to? That's why this became a bigger story than one bad game. And the reason it stayed hot is because Redick didn't stop. After that, the same theme kept coming up again and again. Not just "we turned it over," but "we're not running our stuff." Not just "we need better spacing," but "we're missing reads and players aren't where they need to be." Redick kept stressing that when you've got elite creators, things should feel simpler, not more chaotic. And that's what makes this so uncomfortable. Because with LeBron and a high-level creator next to him, the expectation is that the game should get easier for everybody else. Instead, Redick was describing the opposite. The system breaks down when the rest of the group isn't aligned, and they weren't aligned. And the moment that really exposed how deep the problem goes was when Redick started talking about after-timeout plays, TOs, the stuff coaches live for, because it's supposed to be the most controlled part of a game. He pointed out that they ran a bunch of ATOs and a huge chunk of them weren't even run correctly. Then they tried to run some again and still didn't run them correctly. Think about how wild that is. After a timeout with everyone standing still, with the coach literally drawing the play, the team still couldn't execute it the right way. That is not a talent issue. That's not bad luck. That's structure. That's buy-in. That's organization. And once your coach is saying that out loud, the locker room hears something else. Somebody's freelancing. Somebody's calling audibles. Somebody's running what they want instead of what's being called. This is where the conversation turns into the thing nobody wants to say on camera: control. Because on LeBron teams, control is different. LeBron has been the system for 2 decades. Coaches come and go, but LeBron's style stays. And that creates a reality inside a locker room where players don't always feel comfortable correcting him, challenging him, or even suggesting something he might not like. And you don't have to guess that this dynamic exists. Players have basically admitted it. When a teammate says not everybody can approach LeBron and tell him how to do certain things on the court, that tells you everything. Because if the locker room is hesitant to hold the leader accountable, then what you get is silence, tension, and a whole lot of passive basketball where guys hesitate because they're not sure what the real plan is. That's why Redick's public comments felt like a grenade. Coaches don't usually talk like that when the face of the franchise is involved. They soften the language. They make it we and us and together. Redick did the opposite. He made it clear the issue had a start point, and the start point was LeBron's return. So what happens when that's said out loud? Players start picking sides without saying they're picking sides. The guys who like structure and flow are quietly nodding. The guys who live off improvisation and star power feel like they're being attacked. And the worst part is, even if everyone agrees the offense is messy, nobody wants to be the one who stands up and says it's connected to the most powerful person in the room. That's how locker rooms split. Not with screaming matches, with eye contact, with silence, with guys laughing off serious comments in interviews because they don't want to walk into a minefield. And if you're the Lakers, here's the uncomfortable truth. You can't win at the highest level playing 2 different identities. You can't be a structured, connected team one week and then turn into random hero ball possessions the next week and expect consistency in April and May. Because when the offense gets random, it doesn't just look ugly. It changes everyone's rhythm. Shooters stop cutting because they don't want to clog space. Bigs don't know if they're screening or slipping because the timing keeps changing. Role players hesitate because they're waiting to see if they're actually part of the possession or just standing there as decoration while the stars cook. And that's why Redick's random possessions line matters so much. He wasn't just complaining about one game. He was calling out a style of basketball that collapses spacing, removes motion, and turns a 5-man offense into a 2-man show with 3 spectators. Now, to be fair, LeBron can still play. He can still create. He can still have nights where he looks like he's bending the game, but the question isn't whether he can still get numbers. The question is whether he's willing to fit into a structure that makes the team function every single night, not just when the stars are hot. Because at this stage, the Lakers don't need LeBron to be the entire system. They need him to be a part of the system. And that's a different kind of sacrifice, one that has nothing to do with skill and everything to do with ego, habit, and comfort. So the Lakers are staring at 3 paths, and none of them are clean. One path is LeBron fully buying into a structured role, playing more off the ball, making quicker decisions, and letting the offense breathe. That's the path where this story becomes a turning point and not a collapse. The second path is Redick backing off, smoothing his comments, protecting feelings, and quietly letting the hierarchy stay the hierarchy. That path usually keeps the peace, but it also keeps the problems. Because the same slippage will show up again the moment they face a real playoff defense that forces discipline. And the third path is the one nobody wants to say, the organization choosing a future direction without announcing it. Not with a press release, but with rotations, closing lineups, and whose style the offense truly reflects as the season goes on. That's why this moment matters. Because when a coach says, "I don't know what else to do," he's not just talking about one play. He's talking about authority. He's talking about standards. He's talking about whether the team is going to be coached or whether it's going to be ruled. So I'll leave you with this. Do you think JJ Redick was calling out execution, or was he calling out control? And do you think this ends with LeBron adapting, or do you think it ends with the coach taking the blame if the season gets rocky? So I'll leave you with this. Do you think JJ Redick was really talking about execution, or was he talking about control? Because when a coach says, "I don't know what else to do," that's not frustration. That's a warning. Do you think this ends with LeBron fully adapting and letting the system breathe? Or does it end the way these situations usually do, with the coach taking the fall if things don't smooth out? Let me know what you think in the comments. I read all of them. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more real, no-fluff Lakers stories like this, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you in the next video.